this, drop a 1 in the comment if you are ready to learn how to turn your expertise into profit. So today's the day that we're going to transform your signature system into a scalable and sellable program that works while you sleep. So again, if you're excited about that, drop a 1 in the comments. If you're really excited and you want to give me a hell yeah or some money bags in the comments, go ahead and drop that if you are ready to learn the secrets of packaging your expertise and your knowledge into a signature system that generates maximum profit. All righty. So what we're going to be talking about in Module 5 is about packaging and selling your system. So this is the system to program bridge, right? So let's start with something crucial that most experts miss. There's a difference between having a signature system and having a profitable program, right? So there's a difference. So I want you to think about it like this. Your system is your secret recipe, right? So it's your system is your secret recipe. So kind of like what we were talking about, the cake and, kind of thinking about maybe a particular recipe, that you are known for, that usually when you're going to, special gatherings with family and friends, you are the one that are like, oh my gosh, she's got to make this, or he's got to make this. I want you to think about that as your secret recipe that no one quite makes it like you, right? Your program is the restaurant that serves it. So, again, you have this secret recipe and, people just love it so much that, and maybe you have, offered it and, taken it in many places and like, people are like, you've got to sell this stuff. Like, it is so good. You got to sell it. So that becomes your program. So your program is like the restaurant that serves it. And your profit is what happens when you combine them perfectly. So you have the system, you have the program, and when you package it all up perfectly, then you profit from that. So that's the magic that happens in packaging. So the packaging framework, and here's what I mean by packaging. Your signature system really needs to have 3 core elements. The first element it needs to have is the core transformation, and kind of what we've been talking about here as we've been going through the signature system blueprint. In Module 1, we really got clear on what that idea was that you wanted to develop in a signature system. And in Module 2, we started mapping out that core transformation. So, what the overall outcome is if you go through the methodology. So if you go from point A to point B and you go through these steps in a certain order, that is your methodology, that's your system, your overall signature system promises a core transformation. And this is the proven process that you have been able to implement in your own life or your own business to be able to get results from, but that you've helped other people and or both. The second thing it needs to have is a delivery vehicle. So how are you going to teach this signature system, right? How are you going to teach it? So we're going to be talking through this in much more detail here in a minute. And then number 3 is the value ladder. So you've heard me talk a lot about your value ladder or your product suite, kind of the same thing. When we talk about this, it's where this fits in your business, right? So where the signature system fits in your business and where the delivery vehicles fit in your product suite and in the customer journey. So I talk about like having various entry points and different price points and products that your clients can work with you and also be able to retain these clients with your products and services by having the signature methodology and having different products and packaging for them to, get pieces of, if not the, part of the transformation, if not the full transformation in through your signature system. So let me break that down. So the strategic position, your signature program should fit in a sweet spot in your value ladder. So you don't want to have it so cheap that it's undervalued. That's kind of, when we're talking about this, you don't want to give your signature system away for free right? That would be, we do a piece of it, but you don't want to give it away for free. And you don't want to have it so cheap that it's undervalued, that people don't, necessarily have the belief that it's, truly something that's going to, give the promised transformation. But you don't want to have it so expensive that it's out of reach for your ideal client. You want to make sure that it's also perfect for establishing your authority. So I want you to think of it as like your Goldilocks offer, right? That's just right. If you kind of think about Goldilocks, it's, one bed was too small, one bed was too big, and one bed was, just right. I want you to think about it from like that, or, not just the beds. I think it was the food. One was, too cold, too hot, and just right. Let me know if anybody else remembers that little nursery rhyme. Goldilocks. So you want to make sure that it's just right. So it's the goals here is that we want it to build credibility. So we want you to become known as the go-to expert for the problem that you solve through your signature system. We want it to create consistent cash flow for you and your business. We want it to set that signature system sets you up for higher ticket sales as well, not only because you've packaged it in multiple products and services, but it also because it helps to retain your clients. It's more difficult to attract new clients into your world because you haven't necessarily built that trust factor with those ideal clients. And when they don't know you and they're first coming to learn about you, it takes time to establish that trust and become seen as that go-to authority figure. And once you start helping your clients get results, and they're going to want to continue to work with you. And by having your signature system and having multiple products and services in your product suite that also continue to help, solve problems for them, and understanding what the next logical problem, problem is for that they're going to have, and creating the solution for that continues to help keep them in your ecosystem and keep you creating additional cash flow in your business, right? So, and it also helps you to make sure that you're attracting the right clients for your signature system based on the problems that you have. So tell me below, what's holding you back at this point, from packaging your expertise? What feels like, share with me below, what feels like the most challenging step here for you? Like, what's holding you back? Why haven't you packaged your expertise into a signature system up to this point? Tell me below what's holding you back. So here's what I've helped or learned from helping hundreds of other coaches package their signature system. One, it's easiest to start with something that's already working, right? It's easier to pick a problem that you've already developed a signature solution. And many times you feel like it's something that isn't that valuable because it seems so easy to you. But because it comes so easy to you and it is so natural, it's going to be easier and quicker for you to implement, right? So, start with something that comes more naturally to you, and that you have, maybe you don't even have to really think about it. It just runs on autopilot for you because you've done this particular system so many times, right? This particular methodology. Two, you want to make it easy to implement, right? So confused, when we were talking about, I did a reel the other day about confused buyers don't buy, right? So if you confuse your audience, they're not going to buy. If you confuse your students, it's the same thing. They're not going to get the transformation. They're going to fall off of your programs. They're not going to continue to take action if you make it too difficult. So that is also the reason, in courses, that we break down courses into bite-sized modules and bite-sized lessons, because if it gets too big, if it gets too overwhelming, your students are going to fall off. They're not going to have the time to be able to, watch the training and take the lessons and refine what they're working on. So we want to make it easy to implement. We also want to make sure that we're focusing on quick wins first, right? So again, kind of like getting, people in building that muscle, right? So if I were to give you a set of weights and tell you, here, I want you to, squat 100 pounds, you might be like, Shannon, there's no way I could squat 100 pounds. I would first then say, well, let's start with 5 pounds, and let's, build up that resistance and build up that endurance, and then, move up gradually over time to that next win and that next win. And what that does is help to reinforce the brain and the neural pathways as well, that we can do this. This is achievable. Or like, oh, that wasn't as hard as I thought. Like, I can do this, right? And then it makes you go and then take the next step as well. So think about that for your clients. You want to get them in on these quick wins. And it also is going to help reinforce you as an authority figure and somebody that they can trust, because they're going to see that you can get them results. You also want to build in success milestones. So what are, again, those milestones that we're talking through, like as they're moving, for instance, my programs typically have 3 main milestones or 3 main phases. So that, by the time you reach mile marker or milestone 1, that you've been able to learn, do, and achieve, particular skills and results by watching the lessons and taking the aligned action. And that also helps us know, if you kind of think about like translating that to going on a trip, it helps you to know that, oh gosh, you've like at least, say you have a particular journey, say you're going 100 miles in that particular journey, once you've reached the first mile, that first mile marker or first milestone of 25 miles, that you've gone a quarter of the way of your destination, right? That now you only have 3 more quarters to go and you will have achieved that, trip. You will get to your destination. Same here. That really helps us reinforce that, we're getting closer, we're making progress. Like, it's like, oh goodness, I only have 3 more milestones to go, or I only have 2 more milestones to go. It really, really helps to, get them in positive momentum by really building in these success milestones. Number 5, you want to create clear transformation steps. So again, what are those milestones? So if you perhaps have 3 milestones, and depending on how long the course is, if it is a 6 to 12 module course, you could have 3 milestones for that. If it makes sense, like again, in Signature Course Launch System, my 3 main milestones are design, deliver, and develop a signature system to be able to build a profitable and scalable online course or coaching program. So you want to have those clear milestones, but you also want to have the clear transformation steps. So each module then becomes a transformation step. So that, you have your modules, and then each module again has its own little learning objective as well. So by the end of this particular module, you will be able to have, understood and learned and implemented this particular skill. And the same for the lessons that make up those particular modules. So each step pays into the overall transformation that they're taking. So that's what we're going to be kind of talking about, and making sure that we are doing that as we're going through. So kind of recapping here on this particular slide, packaging and selling your system. The system is what you use to get success. So again, it's your signature system, it's your signature methodology, and the program is the container that you're putting it in, that you're delivering your signature system through. So we'll talk more about those particular containers in just a moment. And then your first system should be a medium priced product. It kind of sits in that sweet spot in the middle of your product suite. So when we're kind of talking about the various entry points on, wherein a client first becomes aware of you in the customer journey, to where they, that's the attraction phase. And we generally attract clients into your ecosystem through lead magnets. So perhaps it's a checklist, a cheat sheet, a worksheet. You've got some kind of mechanism that you are, it's like that appetizer, you've kind of dangling that appetizer or sample product in your restaurant that, people give a little taste of it and they're like, oh, I like that. Okay, well, come on in and let me give you some more. And then you move on to the next dish, right? And that can be like your main dish. So that's where you're going to really nurture them, or maybe it's an appetizer. So you give them a taste test, now you have the appetizer, and now you're going to be moving on to the main dish. And this is where they're going to then invest in working with you and your products and services. So we will really want to, think about that journey and think about those stepping stones, again, going back to, your own customer journey and looking at what were those stepping stones that you took from, being attracted and entering into the world of even, coming into my world, right? So if you're thinking about my courses and programs, how did you enter the world of Shannon, the ecosystem of Shannon, through perhaps a lead magnet and through a visibility strategy of where that lead magnet was marketed, right? So whether or not you received it because you answered an ad, through social media, like in paid marketing through Facebook ads, or perhaps it was on Facebook or Instagram or a YouTube channel. Like I have lots of various tactics I use and implement into my business for my visibility strategies to be able to get in front of my ideal client. So we talk more about really the building that out in Signature Course Launch System. But you really want to kind of think about this sitting in the sweet spot of your product suite, in kind of like the middle of your funnel. So here is where it really gets exciting. We get to choose how you're going to deliver your transformation. And the best part about this, you guys, is there's not a one size fits all approach. So like there's multiple different ways, multiple different options on how you can package your signature system. And that's the beauty of it, because especially once you create your signature methodology and your signature system into like your core offer, then you can start breaking it down and breaking it off into like a lot of, different products and services that you can, again, help to put in various spots in your funnel to be able to attract, nurture, and convert your ideal client through the various products and services. So let's talk about like the format, right? So let me walk you through the delivery format that helps you to be able to discover, that journey, as well as one that perfectly aligns with you, with your strengths, and with your audience's needs. So the first thing we have when we're kind of looking at digital products, these are going to be, and kind of we've touched on them a little bit when you've got, thinking of a customer in the beginning of the customer journey and just becoming aware of you. That's typically when we use things like ebooks, checklists, cheat sheets, these interactive worksheets, things like that. This is kind of like at the beginning of the funnel, is where we start to, take your signature system, your signature methodology. And for instance, to give you a tangible example, thinking of like the Signature Course Launch System, and then my Ultimate Course Creation Planner. In the Ultimate Course Creation Planner, I give you a planner, I don't even remember, I think it's 37 pages long, that walks you step by step through the process of creating and packaging and selling your online courses and coaching programs. So that's a digital version of that. That's also a product that I could easily sell on, on my online store, in my funnels, all of that as well, that I could sell for $7, or I could sell it even for $9 as a strategy to not necessarily be a money maker in my business, but it would help to absorb the ad cost, right, for running ads to generate leads into my business to then further nurture and convert. So those are things that you want to think about. And even to break that down, I could then turn that into a checklist, right? So it wouldn't even need to be as intensive as a workbook or a planner. It could be a checklist that just lists out the core steps of your signature methodology. So you can, again, like these digital formats can include these ebooks, it can be planners, it can be worksheets, it can be checklists, cheat sheets, all of that. Those are all great for, really mapping out the step-by-step process. They're really great for helping with, like if you start getting into online courses, you can have online courses. They're great for self-paced learning. So you can have mini courses, much like what this is. The Signature System Blueprint is a 5-day mini course that I walk you through a piece of the transformation that makes up the Signature Course Launch System. This is a piece of it. It's not the full course. I couldn't teach you the full transformation, the full course in the course of 5 days, but looking at that and looking at your signature system, thinking of, like if you broke off even like module 1 of your signature system, then you can then further break it down into ebooks, planners, checklists, and mini courses that you can either sell as standalone products, like a self-paced course, or that you can also have like a hybrid solution, much like what I've done here, where I have provided a Facebook group for you to be able to get support as you're moving through this as well. And also taking this too is like, once you've like beta tested it with your clients, then you can also turn this into a paid product, much like what I'm doing for Signature System Blueprint. Then after the first couple of rounds of this, I will turn it into an evergreen product, and then I will just put it up for sale through my funnels. So you can have it as self-liquidating offers. You can have it as tripwire products as well, and in your overall funnel, to be able to not only start building authority, like attracting your ideal client at those lower price points, giving them those quick wins, also adding additional revenue into your business, and building that authority with your clients, because now that you've helped them with that transformation in the mini course or the full course, like it doesn't even have to be a mini course, but speaking to that point, that's where then they want to take the next step with you, because then you can, once you have completed that mini course with them, then you give them an invitation to take the next steps with you, like what I'm demonstrating here for you, on how to take the next steps with me to be able to implement the full signature system. So, kind of thinking about that. Also, email courses are another option of how you can deliver your courses. So if you're creating and recording and producing your online course, then you can deliver those particular modules and lessons over the course of, whether it's a week or it's a 14 days or it's a 30-day course, depending on the size of your course. You can deliver it over through a series of emails that delivers the course. So in that particular instance, then you would host it either like on a unlisted YouTube channel, or like in a Dropbox or something like that, a Google Drive, where you've uploaded that particular course content, and then you deliver it through your email provider, which would be something like MailerLite or ActiveCampaign or MailChimp or something like that. Video series as well. You can do some pre-recorded video series that walks them through a particular transformation without having necessarily a full course that has deliverables. This can be a guided, video series that, again, you're either hosting in a Facebook group, or you're hosting and delivering, maybe through it could be like through Zoom. So maybe you're having some Zoom meetups, or maybe you're delivering through even like a no-cost online course portal, which we also teach in Signature Course Launch System, how you can use Google Sheets or even Google Pages or Google Sheets or Google Docs to be able to deliver video series through that method as well. And then hosting webinars. So webinars, challenges, 3 to 5 day challenges work really well to give, again, a taste, giving a mini transformation, mini wins for your ideal client in these particular containers. And then again, the beauty of any of these products and services is that you can have them priced at various points in your offer suite to be able to generate more revenue. So not only does it attract people at various points in your ecosystem to, work with you, then you can also think about, when you're going through this, how do you strategically lead your ideal client step by step to taking the next logical step. So where each of these particular products and services, it solves a mini piece of your transformation in your signature system, but then it also opens a gap for where they now have the next problem to be able to solve that your signature solution offers. And then you can make that invitation for them to continue to work with you to get that transformation. For instance, in Course Creators Academy, that's my $7 monthly membership, and that teaches you how to design, develop, and run profitable online course business. But what it does not teach you is the various marketing strategies to be able to market and sell your online courses and coaching programs. So that opens up the next gap of, now that you're ready to be able to launch and start filling those programs, then you want to look at various marketing tactics to be able to do that. So whether you're, marketing through organic methods, paid marketing, or a combination of both. So that's what my signature or course launch mastery system helps people to do. And then that is my $49 a month monthly membership, cancel anytime, that teaches you all the various tactics to be able to market and sell your online courses and coaching programs. So kind of thinking about that for you. And then, again, the signature course launch system that teaches you how to create your signature methodology, what we're talking about here in the signature system blueprint, to be able to create this whole world and not only create all of the various delivery mechanisms, but also how to create your marketing plan to be able to market and sell all of these particular courses and programs over the year, and how to really, implement that strategy, not only the marketing plan, but the various tactics and strategies that you're going to implement over the next year to be able to market and sell all of these programs and services to really scale your income. Then we also have group coaching programs, and that's what I have here with the signature course launch system, is a group coaching program. Now that you can package those in various different time frames as well, like, maybe you're doing a 6-week group coaching program, or you're doing a 12-week group coaching program. I offer 12 months at this time for the signature course launch system, because I really believe that my students, it takes time to test and tweak and really try out different transformations, as well as many of my clients also work a full-time job and have family members to take care of, and other, activities that, they're responsible for in their day-to-day life. So, it takes time and dedication to be able to commit all of these things. So I give you 12 months in that particular program to, watch the lessons, to implement the programs, and to really tweak, refine, rinse, and repeat to really get a really strong, profitable business up and going. And then also, so you can, doing that. And one of the questions I get around that for group coaching programs is, how long does the program need to be? And I would just kind of ask you to look at that, like, well, how long will it take realistically for someone new that doesn't come with all the prerequisites that you came with to be able to watch the lessons, take the training, and get the result, right? So how long does it need to be able to go through that transformation? So if it's a 6-module course, do they need 6 weeks? Do they need an extra week, for maybe perhaps like a, meet and greet type of thing, like an onboarding call for your students? Do they need another call at the end, to have like a recap party, and celebrate all of their success and talk about what's next? So, kind of looking at that, those are some of the things you need to consider as you're going through, as well as some group coaching programs will build in extra weeks for implementation, right? So there's not necessarily a live lesson or pre-recorded training that is being delivered each and every single week. Some weeks are implementation weeks, and some weeks are training weeks. So kind of thinking about that, and really thinking about with the ideal client time frame for your ideal client to be able to get that transformation based on where they're at right now, right? And then in-person workshops, much like, some of my clients here, they host in-person, not just virtual workshops, but in-person workshops. So that's another opportunity. If there's a group in your local community, I know we have various different people inside Signature System Blueprint to even include some coaches that have in-person businesses. So you have this brick and mortar business that you're adding additional courses and programs in your product suite. So again, you can scale your income and you can scale your impact by being able to reach more people with your expertise around the world by packaging it up into a signature system that gets delivered through these delivery formats. So being that said, you may want to do in-person workshops as well to be able to get in front of your audience, to be able to help them in person. And through doing that, then you can also really charge a premium. Like if you're doing a in-person workshop and, maybe perhaps you're collaborating with other coaches and course creators or experts that can really help to expand on the transformation and the deliverables that you're delivering. So lots of different things here, lots of different things to consider. Again, whether or not you are doing physical products, which are, again, like your printed books and workbooks, these help to recap here. These help to really build the credibility and the authority, making you, even that you have this, right? This physical book that you've taken the time to really implement this and put your signature methodology in a workbook or checklist, that alone sets you apart, and that alone starts to build that credibility and authority. And then you can further nurture your ideal client through your welcome sequence and through your sales sequence and your nurture emails through your email strategy, email marketing strategy. But it's a tangible tool that helps to deliver a set transformation. And it's perfect for the, tactile learners that really like to put their hands on something. And, it makes it very tangible when it's something we can print out, touch, feel, write in. As well as, again, like these can be resources that you've extracted from your signature system. For instance, like your signature course launch or your signature program, you can not only have these as free resources that are available for your students inside your program, but they can also be products and services that you either have in your funnel as a lead magnet that you're offering for free, or a product that you're selling in your funnel at a lower entry point. Say, for instance, like if you wanted, in the like my model, I sell them for like $9 or $17 or $27, depending on what the product is. Or, if it's like a $9 ebook or planner, then you could or get it for free by, joining the membership. And then once they're in the membership, they just see like they get everything, like, that it becomes a no-brainer to stay in the membership, and it helps you to minimize churn. And then your email-based training, again, these are your drip-fed courses. This, again, helps to build anticipation because they know, they're going to those emails looking for that next email that's going to be delivering the next piece of the signature system. It's maintaining that engagement, and it's easy to really automate. That once you automate it and you set it up in your funnels, it can run indefinitely until you turn it off, right? So it's like you create it once, and this is an asset that continues to work on autopilot for you and your business. It's a beautiful, beautiful thing. Then the video training, again, this is your pre-recorded series. So, it's a show rather than tell experience, and it builds this personal connection with your ideal clients, and it demonstrates the complex concepts that you're teaching. So again, you're teaching a piece of your signature system. Maybe, again, it's like a particular module. It's a real shiny module and something that, people would, pay for to be able to learn. And that becomes a really attractive magnetic module. So it, offers perhaps like live learning and webinars, or I'm sorry, live learning. You have your webinars and workshops. Again, this is real-time interaction, immediate feedback, offers community, as well as, you can do it hybrid style, which I really lean to and rely on, is because that, I pre-record the content. So the content can then be put in the online portal for you. And then I have the community approach where I am giving you daily community support through the community, or daily coaching and mentoring through the community support element. So this really helps to blend both worlds and really give you a well-rounded experience and meet, especially when you're helping people all over the globe, because of different time constraints and things like that, and time zones. It can be challenging to be able to host live events and get like people on there live. So this helps you to be able to solve that and be able to reach more people. And then again, you had your group coaching, which has that it's a cohort-based learning. So you've got multiple people in there, and that's something I forgot to mention, but you have multiple people in there all on the same transformational journey together. So you get the beauty of being able to connect with other like-minded entrepreneurs or learners that are in that particular support container as well, and build it together. So it has a built-in accountability support mechanism by doing that, because success breeds success. And when you're in it together, then you typically will be more accountable and show up and do it, and have a little bit of competition. So it's a healthy competition. So it's got that peer support system. well, everybody's feeding, commenting on everybody's post and giving feedback and various points of view, which is really, really good. And typically you see higher completion rates in these group coaching programs because of this kind of community and accountability built in. So you do see higher completion rates in that. And two, because typically group programs have an end date, right? So where they're not just like an evergreen course that you can take anytime. There's like almost like a pressure cooking situation, because you only have particular access to maybe the coaching for 12 weeks and that mentor for 12 weeks. So you definitely want to be able to do the work and get the feedback from the mentor and soak up everything you can from the mentor during that set period of time. So it just kind of puts a little fire under the person to be able to get the work done. And that can be really, really beneficial to some people that really work good with deadlines. And I know I'm like one of them. I like some ease in there, but I do like a bit of a deadline to get things done. So go ahead and let's do a little quick exercise. I want you to drop a number down below based on a couple of things here that I'm going to give you. So if you are drawn to digital products, I want you to drop a number 1 in the comments below. So if you're drawn to digital products, these would be your ebooks, your online courses, your email courses, and so forth. Drop a number 1. Drop a number 2 if you love the idea of video training. So this is where you have a pre-recorded series of videos that are available to go ahead and deliver through a particular delivery system. Let me know if you love the idea of pre-recorded trainings. Give me a number 3 if group programs and more of that live or hybrid model excites you. So where it's more of that, set period of time. It's, having a community where you're building community, not just the content and the deliverables, but you're building a community. You're providing coaching and mentoring. You have the accountability from working together with other peers, and students inside the program. Let me know if that is for you. And you also have a pressure cooker situation where perhaps it's a given, maybe it's 6 weeks or 12 weeks or 6 months. My very first coaching program that I signed up for and invested in was a 6-month program. And then drop a number 4 if live events really light you up. So I'd love to know where each and every one of you are, and kind of gives me an idea of there is no wrong answer here, and you can like them all. Maybe number 5 is all the above, but go ahead and drop that and kind of let me know where you're at. Now, the next step then is tell me why that format. So if you chose 1, 2, 3, or 4, or 5, why that format appeals to you. So kind of thinking about, when you're choosing your format, I want you to consider these factors. I want you to consider 1, your teaching style. So like, how do you naturally share information? And I want you to think about what feels most energizing to you in regards to your teaching style. Number 2, I want you to think about your audience's learning preferences. So how do your audience best absorb information? And then I want you to think about what fits their learning style. And then the third one is your business goals. So what level of scalability do you need? What level of scalability do you need? And then how much personal interaction do you want? And number 4, I want you to think about your current resources. So what could you go out after this training and create right now? And then think about what could you grow into. So here is what I've learned from helping hundreds of coaches choose their format. I want you to start with what you are most confident in, because it's going to come easier to you. You're going to be able to create everything from the signature system, the methodology, the course itself, all of the modules, all the materials, everything much quicker, and be able to package it up and sell it much quicker when you're confident, right? When you're confident that your signature system, your methodology gets results. And then you can combine formats for greater impact, right? Again, as I've talked about here in your product suite and meeting clients where they are at in the customer journey, you can combine various formats to have this greater impact. And you can test small before scaling big. This one is huge. Test small before scaling something big. So rather than making the mistake that I've made, that hundreds of thousands of other course creators have made with going out and creating a whole course or online coaching program without testing it and validating it, and hearing crickets and then it not selling and then you getting frustrated and overwhelmed, I want you to do like a taste tester. So even much like what I've done with the Signature System Blueprint, it is a taste tester for what is to come in Signature Course Launch System. Now, the only difference in Signature Course Launch System is I've been teaching this since 2019 in various formats. I've repackaged it, improved it, tweaked it, and made it better along the way and broke it off into different containers. But I already knew it was a proven offer, something that my ideal client wants to be able to learn how to create, launch, and scale signature systems, online courses, coaching programs with the signature system. So test small, putting the offers out there, seeing if people are raising their hand, if they are, interested in what you're offering before creating the full thing is going to be how you win the game. Listening to your audience's preference is key. So asking for audience feedback, asking what they're interested in, asking if they would be, interested in if you were to create this, is it something they would be interested in? Then you can even, do little fun things like, if I get 100 likes, on this particular post, then I will create you, X, you know what I mean? So it's like testing the audience, testing your market. Is it something they're interested in? Is it also like testing workshop ideas and challenge ideas, things like that, is a way to see and validate the offer and validate that this is something you're interested in. So go ahead and think about those things. Think about, what your learning preferences are, what your communication styles are, how do you work best with your energy, your time constraints, all of those things. What are the easiest things that you could implement so far or right now for a signature system and for a particular product, and think about that and let us know. And if you want to have any questions on any of that, go ahead and drop them in around this video here or in the Facebook group for some feedback. So now that you understand the different formats available, let's look closely at how to choose the perfect delivery system for your specific audience. So let's take a look at that. Again, make sure that you kind of think about this before we move forward. And again, really considering, what your energy levels are, what your time commitment levels are, how much time do you have dedicated, if you're considering, for example, if you're considering a group coaching programs, I want you to factor in the time for, not only creating the content, but then delivering the content and then coaching the clients and so forth. What does that look like for you for a time commitment? Do you prefer live interaction? Do you prefer a hybrid approach where you've got some pre-recorded content and then you also have the live element of, supporting members inside a Facebook community or some type of community, or email or Voxer support or something like that? Think about that. It works best for you, works best for your business, for the stage of life that you're at, as well as for your clients. So now comes $1 million question. How do you choose the perfect delivery format that your ideal clients will absolutely love? Well, let's talk about this and let's crack the code together. So in the first part of this lesson, we're going to be talking about the market match formula. So essentially, this is a secret to choosing your ideal client delivery format. The secret isn't about what's trendy, right? Maybe against popular belief. It's not about what's trendy. It's about what works for your specific audience. So let's dive into how you can really nail this. So a couple of critical factors I want you to consider here, and we've talked about this a lot kind of already, and the importance of it. But the first critical factor here, and why it's so important to really have done your homework in the beginning when we were in module 3 and going through market mastery, is really understanding your ideal client, because truthfully, they're the foundation of your business. They're who you're creating everything you're creating, for, everything you're creating, it's for your ideal client. So it's really important to understand their learning style. So when you think about this, I want you to think about and again, you guys, a lot of this is like doing your research and kind of getting your first hypothesis of what works and creating that. And then as you start working with members, whether you're doing a beta round, at a lower price point, or you're, launching it and teaching it live, so forth, you will get an idea of, working with real clients and what they actually want once you start working it. But, this is kind of your hypothesis to begin with. And the things you want to consider is, how do they prefer to learn? So how do they prefer to learn? Do they prefer to learn and absorb the lessons in like a safe, self-paced course? So kind of, for instance, what I have here in Signature System Blueprint. In fact, I do it for all my programs because my learners, my students, particularly like to be able to consume the lessons on their own time. So where they, have the opportunity to go through them. I serve people all over the world, so time zones are different. So that's something to consider here, in your ideal client. Where are they? What time zone are they in? How do they prefer to learn? And then when do they consume this content? So, are they consuming it in the morning? Are they consuming it on their lunch break? Are they consuming it after they put the kids down for bed at night? I have clients that are doing all of the above. So I want you to understand that about your clients as well. And then thinking about what are their tech comfort levels as well. So as they're navigating through, trying to access your content through the particular mechanism, how are their tech levels, comfort with their tech levels? So, for instance, if you're hosting in an online or a Facebook group rather, and maybe you have the online course in all of the, what's the word, not feature section, the guide section in the Facebook group, and you have it all organized in there. How comfortable are they with using social media, being able to get into the Facebook group and navigating over to the guide section to be able to access the content? Or maybe you have it in an online course portal, like to go to like the ultimate, right? So maybe it's an online course portal. So being able to, get onto the computer and navigate to that and be able to log on to the portal and access the portal and the Facebook group. So regardless, it's really just important to understand what their tech levels are and being able to access the content that you're providing. Number 2 is looking at your materials. So what are you teaching? So understanding, what you're teaching, how long. So kind of thinking about, how complex the topic is, how long it's going to be able to take to teach that particular topic, thinking about whether or not what action steps you are providing to your students for them to take action steps. So, how complex are those action steps, and accounting for that and accounting for the time commitment and knowing that up front and understanding how much time your student's going to need to commit, time-wise to be able to complete this. And then what kind of support is needed. So kind of thinking about the materials. So what kind of deliverables are needed to be able to help them implement faster and quicker and save time and save the headache, right? So making it easy for them, much like what I have all of the different, my course book, action guide, cheat sheets, templates, copy templates, like everything that you could possibly need as a course creator and a business owner to be able to take that burden off of you from, having to start with a blank piece of paper or a blank canvas over in Canva to create your deliverables. And then number 3 is your delivery capacity. So what kind of, what can you deliver consistently? And then how much personal involvement is really, needed. So, really thinking about that, if you, are pre-recording, much like, thinking about from the course creation, development, and production process, like, really factoring in how much time it takes you to design and develop that course. And then how long does it take you to start delivering that course and really helping your students through that process. And then also looking at what systems you can automate, right? So how much of this can be automated? How much can you set up? Like once you've created and set it up and got it running on autopilot, even from not only the delivery piece of it, but the marketing and sales piece of it, is how much can you automate in your business to generate leads and sales on autopilot every day. So then you can really free up that time for you to be able to work on just nurturing and taking care of your client. So kind of looking at all of those things and looking at, not only your audience's needs, but also looking at your materials and your delivery capacity is really, really important. So the next thing is to really, look at how this works in like real example here. And kind of some of it I've given you talking about the ecosystem that I have with my business. But let me give you another example from like a tech training example. So, the primary deliverable would be like video tutorials. So it's where you're doing like an over the shoulder step-by-step modules where you're showing, how to use the tech. So for instance, if I was doing a course on email marketing, I could be taking you through that particular module over the shoulder when I'm walking you step by step, screen by screen, showing you exactly what buttons to push, what information to input into the system to be able to set it up. And then support would look like the live tech help access. So this would be like having live Q&A calls, live, again, like workshops, things like that, where you can actually implement together. And then a bonus here could be like troubleshooting guides. So like a quick reference guide that has like common problems regarding like setting up an email system and how to overcome them, right? And you could also have little videos too. So, even if it's in the tech tutorial, you could have hyperlinks to little videos that you've recorded perhaps on Loom that are the little quick video walkthroughs on how to fix something if something goes awry or if it's broken. So this helps you to have this visual demonstration, which is really crucial, in having something that's, teaching you how to set up tech, right? So it's one thing to talk about it. It's another thing to see it in practice. Let me know if this is you, but like I do so much better, I was laughing the other day. I had to do a plumbing repair and I must have watched that video over 100 times because I needed to see step by step how to do the particular plumbing repair. So it's the same kind of thing. I do that for even everything like setting up my website, all of that. I had step-by-step tutorials that I went through that taught me how to, go through each and every section, button by button, text by text of what to put in it to build the website. So that would be something important to think about from that particular example. Another example would be like a language learning example. So the primary deliverables would be like live webinar classes. So you could do this like in a webinar, like on a Zoom call, perhaps. And then your support materials would be like self-study materials. So you could have like a course book and like an action guide, cheat sheets, things like that, that further help to solidify what you're teaching and help walk them through examples and things to be able to do and, to be able to learn that language. And then the bonus could be like group practice sessions. So that's really helpful because that interactive speaking practice is really essential to making sure that they're getting feedback. I know my daughter is in an online language class for French. She does that. So she has, so much of the content that's delivered through the online portal that she goes through and does herself, as well as all the exercises and the homework that she has to complete. But then she also has to get on these calls to actually enunciate the words that she's learning in the other language and get feedback from the mentor as well to make sure that she's has the right pronunciation and things like that, and the right understanding of the words as well. So that is another example. So let's apply this to your business. I want you to drop a light bulb in the comments below and kind of think about, if you've had any light bulb moments around what you're teaching, like if you've had some clarity on what you're teaching. And then the other thing is like looking at understanding, did you have any light bulb moments on understanding how your clients like to learn? The other thing to think about, like some clients really like, and as you really refine your programs, you want to have different formats and how you're delivering this content. Some clients like to have, again, the tangible print, in print, like workbooks, course books, things like that, that they can print out, that they can write on, that is a tangible, deliverable for that particular course. Other people like to watch video and absorb through video lessons, like pre-recorded or live, or, replay, so they can hear it. So they're auditory learners, and they may be also visual learners. So they need the visual and the auditory. Some just like, the auditory. So maybe perhaps having a podcast really helps to just have the transcript from your recording and put it, on a podcast, channel, so they can be able to consume it through the auditory without having to watch it. So, and then also quizzes and different things like that help to solidify the homework, action steps like that help to solidify that they're actually learning. So let me know below, what those light bulb moments are that you've had for what you're teaching, or how your ideal client likes to learn and to be able to, absorb information. And then what format, let me know as well, what format you feel like you're leaning towards. The next part here is course structure and value. So let's talk about maximizing your program's value. So a couple of factors here to consider are the duration. So the duration of your course. Kind of, again, we've talked a bit about this, but I want you to think about the transformation time that's really needed for your ideal client to not only learn the information, but to be able to implement the information that you're teaching them, to be able to get that transformation. So what is a realistic time frame based on the prerequisites that your ideal client is coming to you? Like, are they a beginner to the information or to your course topic? Are they intermediate? Are they advanced? I want you to, everybody has a different skill level and prerequisites that they come with. So I want you to kind of consider that. And then, again, the length of your course. So how long is that transformation? Then thinking about the client availability. So again, like, is this something that you want to have pre-recorded so they can, watch on their own time? Is it something that, their availability that they need to show up live for at a particular time? And then also, how much time is that each week that they need, each day, each week, that they need to be able to accommodate in their calendar to be able to commit to doing the work? And then thinking about those implementation requirements. So not only consuming the content, but what action steps do they need to be able to implement to be able to get that transformation? And then also considering the support level needed to make sure that you're coaching and mentoring them through that transformation is really, really key. For value building elements, you want to, again, kind of consider here your core content. That's going to be your modules, your lessons, your action steps. So that's kind of, again, what you're teaching and what that, what you're teaching through, like what your learning outcomes are or learning objectives for each of your modules and each of your lessons, and then what the action steps are. So that is a value element that's really essential for your course. Also, what's essential for your signature system is going to be the support materials. So here we're talking like workbooks, templates, checklists, cheat sheets, things like that, that help them to be able to not only have that other format of learning, so that other learning modality, but also help them to implement and execute on learning, and putting that, what they've learned, turning that knowledge into action to be able to get those wins. And then thinking about like implementation tools. So, adding in practice exercises, quizzes, any kind of feedback loops, progression tracking, all of those are going to also help set your students up for success, and know that, you're really committed to their success, because their success is your success. So then you want to consider the pricing principles. So here's the powerful truth. Your pricing power increases with the depth of the material. So kind of thinking about the transformation itself and the depth of the materials that you're providing. It increases with the level of support. So how much support they're getting with you. Are they getting monthly live Q&A sessions? Are they getting bi-weekly, weekly live Q&A sessions? Are they, do they have options where they can pre-submit questions to you? Can they get on live Zoom calls with you? Do they have the availability to email you for support or get in Voxer, something of that nature, kind of thinking like, what is that level of support? The more support, the more access they have to you, the higher premium you can charge for that particular transformation. Also thinking about the transformation speed. So again, like how long is it realistically going to take the majority of your clients to be able to get that transformation, and also what the implementation ease is. So how, is it, very easy? Is it intermediate? Is it like advanced type of course and advanced strategies you're teaching? Kind of looking at that is really going to help you pick that sweet spot for your pricing. So kind of consider those factors as you're considering the pricing. There is no right or wrong answer. Doing your homework here, really looking at what your competitors, kind of back into module 3 when we were going through market mastery, and really, and also module 2 when we were looking at signature methodology, and really looking at your competitors as well. And we did a lot of that analysis in that module of looking at your competitors, looking at their products, looking at their pricing, looking at their deliverables, what they've included, their timeframes, all of that. And if you need to go back and look at your notes from there, I would highly recommend that. And then kind of looking at, these and the criteria that I've given you here to be able to, again, study your target market, determine the best format for them to digest that information, and then the best delivery system that helps you to be able to deliver that and to help them get the transformation and help you select your perfect or your pricing. And know as well, like, the first iteration of your signature system in this particular delivery method, you can always change your pricing. So you're not married to your pricing forever. You may have your pricing, at a lower price point, investment point for your ideal client, the first iteration or the second iteration, and then increase it as your skill level and your success in your client success continues to increase, and you can command more for that as well. All right, so here is the secret that separates six-figure course creators from the rest. It's not just what you teach, it's about how you support your students' success. So let me show you how to create support materials that guarantee results here. So the one thing I always say is that clarity comes from taking action, and action equals results. So, as we're thinking about this and thinking about your students, it's one thing to hear something, and let me give you a tangible example. So it's one thing to watch somebody fish, right? You go fishing with a friend. It's one thing to watch them, actually fish, like bait the hook, put the line in the water, catch the fish, reel it in, get it off of the hook. It's another thing to actually learn to fish yourself. So learning how to, like, where to fish, what bait to get, what kind of fish and pole to get, what kind of lures to get, like how to bait the hook itself, how to, what the best spot is to fish, what, how to catch the fish, how to get it off the hook, and so forth. It's even another skill to teach somebody how to fish, right? So we've gone from watching someone fishing to learning how to fish ourselves to teaching someone else how to fish and how to master the skill of fishing. So with that said, I want you to apply that to your signature system and to the products and services that you're creating with your signature system. The more success that you have in doing this, the more you support your students, the more results that you're going to get, the more feedback, testimonials, and all of that you're going to get, the more you're going to be able to really build out your products and services and really scale your income and your impact. But I want you to think about your support materials as the scaffolding that ensures your students' success. Again, like, it's one thing to hear something, but until your students actually start implementing what you're teaching them, they're not going to really comprehend and really get full clarity on what you're saying until they go through it themselves. So they can watch you, much like watching fishing, and think, oh, that looks easy. But until they actually go through the process of doing it themselves, they're not going to have full clarity on the actual comprehension of the steps that you're teaching them. Does that make sense? So how do we do that? And so we do that by really, having these support materials to ensure their success. So when we think about materials, we think about like different tools for them to implement, again, like test for understanding, have them go through it. So things like action tools, these implementation checklists, it helps to really break down these complex steps that you're teaching through your signature system. It helps to provide like clear milestones and helps them to track progress visually. So having action tools, much like what we have in the signature system blueprint, I have an action guide for you that you're going through that has you module by module, step by step, like doing exercises to take all of that learning and all of that knowledge out of your head and try to put it into a signature system, right? And how to kind of work it out on paper, get it out of your head and work it out on paper to develop your signature system that you can package up and get it ready to sell. And as you're going through that, you can see that you're making progress and that you're, especially if you're submitting the work into the Facebook group to get feedback, you can really know whether you are on the right course, right? And that you're really understanding the concepts that you're learning here. And the same thing for your students. So that's why it's so important to have action, these, implementation checklists, resource guides, things like that, to really help break these steps down and to really help, flush out and help to, the learner to be able to really understand that they're learning the concepts that you're teaching them and to give feedback on that. Resource guides. These are these quick reference materials that answer common questions that your students will have. It provides relevant resources and also saves time and, troubleshooting by having these resource guides available for your students, for like the, quick reference guides to be able to look up some of the common questions or problems that may be having. It also helps you as a business owner too, by creating some of these materials as well, because you can direct your students to the resource guide to go ahead and check for some of these common problems and questions that arise. So they're not always like in your inbox or in your support communities asking the questions, and can be really self-reliant and get the answers that they need in a quicker time frame, right? Interactive workbooks. So these are like practical application tools. Again, they submit the learning through action. They personalize the journey and they document the progress. Again, kind of like, thinking about the action guide. In my courses, in my programs, I also offer a course book that kind of gives like a high level overview of the entire course. I offer action guides, which I've given you the action guide for the signature course launch system through this program. And I also have cheat sheets that kind of even give a higher level overview recap of all of the bullet points of what each module and each lesson is teaching you, that really helps you to kind of refer back quickly. So there's different modalities that you can provide your students to help set them up for success all the way around. Live support systems. So this is where, like in a Facebook group or school community, something like that, or, you could also look at other channels of, perhaps it's like a Voxer or a Slack channel, things like that, where you can give real-time assistance. So somebody has a question, you could also do like office hours. So where you are on Zoom or something, or Google Meet, particular hours during the week for people just to pop in with their questions. You can host Q&A sessions as well, where people can come live, or they can also pre-submit questions if they can't join you live, to be able to get that direct feedback. Implementation support, again, so this is kind of what I offer here in Signature System Blueprint in all of my courses, that everything that you're implementing, you can post that in the Facebook group to be able to get direct feedback from me and from your peers as well, to make sure that you're on track. So having something like that is going to help set your students up for success. Also have progress tracking. So you can have success measurement tools that, really help with like knowledge checks. So this can look like milestone quizzes. So you can build in quizzes, and ChatGPT is really amazing for helping you to be able to like analyze your content and help you come up with some questions for your quizzes really quickly that are really targeted questions that really help to check for understanding. And you can also have achievement tracking mechanisms built into your programs and services to be able to really help, people report their wins as well as, their successes and things like that they're having. And that helps to, really reinforce not only accountability, but keep things exciting in your program as well for other people to jump in and to be able to want to achieve that success because, they see their peers doing it, they want to do it too, and they know it's possible for them too. And then you can have engagement. So, let's personalize your programs. So I want you to like things like dropping emojis in the comments below. So you can have like, if it's a checklist, you can use different emojis and icons for like, if you need, checklist templates, or, you can have, use the little book, like emoji if you want a resource guide, or you can have like a pencil emoji for creating workbooks, or like the thinking emoji for planning live support, or like a bar graph for assessment tools. So like put those kinds of engagement in your group as well. But tell me, as well, I'd love to know too, what types of things are you considering? Or you can just type out the word if you don't want to do emojis, but what kinds of tools are you thinking and support materials would you like to be able to provide to your students? So is it checklists? Is it resource guides? Is it workbooks? Is it live online support, quizzes? Is it a combination? The more support mechanisms that you have, the more you're able to charge for your product and service, when you're considering your pricing as well. And also, don't get overwhelmed in this either. Your first iteration, I teach you to have a minimal viable product as well, because you don't want to spend months and years creating this. You want to give them enough to be able to get them started and get them some initial wins. And then it's as you start working with your clients, and you'll be able to identify additional support materials that we're going to help them really, implement faster, get better results, things like that as you're working with them. And you can continue to add that to your course as you're going forward. So here's how to make your support materials work harder. So one, having like a prevention strategy. So I want you to consider the common obstacles and then address those in like frequently asked question guides proactively. And then also have, create clear troubleshooting guides. And this is where I really love, Chat GPT as well to help you with some of this stuff. One, you should really know your own topic, like your own signature system. So kind of thinking back to, what are the tools and resources that you wish you had that would have made life a lot easier. Maybe you have them now and you're using them, but you didn't have them. So those are things that you can easily add in. But also you can use Chat GPT to kind of help identify some frequently asked questions about your particular course topic. And then you can create those FI or frequently asked question guides and troubleshooting guides to be able to kind of solve those obstacles ahead of time and then point your students to those resources. Progress checks. So you can have like some quick win templates already set up. You can have some, pre-scheduled like post if you have a support group in your Facebook as well, or Google like surveys, things like that for them to go ahead, your students to be able to go ahead and submit on, maybe it's weekly that they're submitting their wins, and you can go ahead and have that set up right in your course portal. So all they have to do is click on the form and go to the template, and you can collect that data. And then you can also repurpose all of these quick wins as testimonials and social proof that your signature system works, because you have all these incredible results that your students are sharing. You have implementation shortcuts, success path markers. There's lots of different things that you can do. In your community, you can have, again, group support structures. You can have, like for instance, I have, accountability buddies. So like post that you can, join up with an accountability buddy or accountability pod to where, you're encouraged to meet up with other students inside the community. So you can kind of like maybe have your own one-off sessions where you're implementing together, you're learning together, you're giving feedback to one another and so forth. It's just, it can be a lonely world in the online business. So it's great to have accountability partners and other people that you're working side by side with to be able to do this business together. And also, to share your wins and celebrations. So, putting those posts in the group, asking for people to share their wins. And it's a great way to be able to, really inspire and keep people motivated in your program. Confidence building, again, having the success milestones really helps them to be able to, visualize their progression in the online course or coaching program. Also, you can have some achievement recognition. So when, you're understanding that your students are getting to certain milestones or they're having certain wins, they've lost the weight, they've made the money, they've, achieved particular pieces of the transformation, then you can really recognize your students and have achievement recognition there. So think about those, think about like different things that you can have, some more examples for, powerful support materials, like from a mindset type of program. You could have like daily reflection prompts. Those also work really well for like if you're doing anything around mindset, manifestation, anything like that, that really is really good to have daily reflection prompts. You can have like breakthrough journals. You can have habit tracking. I love tracking things on paper or in Google Sheets like that. So habit trackers are really good. And that is also a visual representation of the success that they're having and the results that they're getting. For like business type of programs, you can have like return on investment calculators, you have strategy templates, you can have launch checklist. In the technical training, you can have step-by-step guides, video tutorials, troubleshooting flows, things like that. The other thing too for ChatGPT, and we can do more of this on the workshop as well, this is a great thing that ChatGPT is really good about, is extracting a lot of ideas for you, so you can really use it for ideation and helping you, get a list of really valuable, tangible resources that you can create for your students. So kind of look through that, kind of pick out some things, maybe just take your pen and check mark some of the things that you can easily create. Maybe look in your vault of resources that you already have, see what you already have that you could go ahead and implement rather quickly to be able to launch your signature, package and sell your signature system right away. So let me know if